Good morning, everybody. It's another Lunch with Al. I know it's been a long time since I've done this, and I have my reasons. But today, I have an interesting guest. Her name is Amy.
Yep.
And Amy, I understand. I just met her, and she was sitting down at a long table. We're at AJ's house, and she's sitting down the other end of the table. And of course, I'm hard of hearing, so I can't tell what she's saying. But I got the gist of it. Is that you had lupus?
I did, yes.
So could you tell me? And so I asked these 4 questions, and obviously, lupus. What caused you to become whole food, plant-based? Tell me your journey.
Yeah, so my mom actually kind of started the ball rolling for me. Yeah, so she she got connected with Linda Middlesworth and started doing whole foods plant-based. She lost 100 pounds. She's been on the cover.
Your mom lost
My mom, yes.
She doesn't look. She looks.
Yeah, no, she's very thin and
okay.
just she's gorgeous. She's 73, I think.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
she was
thing.
yeah, when she was 70, she was on the cover of Women's World twice, which was fantastic. So I was aware of the lifestyle. I was aware of the benefits of whole food plant-based, but I wasn't quite whole food plant-based myself. I thought it was kind of a radical, way.
Out there.
It just
weird.
seemed a little bit. And I remember telling my mom, like, yeah, vegan is kind of a loaded word. Like, people think you're a little strange, but but then I had been suffering with autoimmune disease for years and years and years.
How did you suffer? What were the symptoms?
Oh my goodness. I was tired all the time. I felt sick for part of the day, every single day, for at least like an hour every day. I felt like I had the flu, like I was going to throw up.
How did they know it was autoimmune?
Well, they didn't. Yeah. In
you
fact,
were undiagnosed.
for many years. In
Okay.
fact, I probably for a good 15
And they probably
years.
thought you were a malinger.
Well, they thought that I had some mental health issues.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
thought that I had mental health issues because I kept going back to the doctor and saying, I don't feel well. Something is wrong. I know something's wrong. And I kind of started feeling sick. I have 4 children, and I kind of started feeling sick after I had kids. And so I thought, okay, maybe my body has just changed. Maybe this is how life is. After you have children, you just feel sick. Because I know, childbirth, that can take a toll on people's bodies. But I have 4 beautiful children, and they're fantastic. And after my last child, ended up that she was getting skin rashes when she was 10 weeks old, and we didn't know what was going on. And we took her to doctor after doctor after doctor, dermatologist. They were trying to figure out what was going on. And finally, one of the dermatologists said, you don't have any history of autoimmune. You don't have autoimmune. Like, do you have any family history? Have you ever had Raynaud's, which, causes your hands to be blue?
What is
and
it
white.
called?
It's called Raynaud's. It's spelled Raynauds.
And your hands go blue, huh?
Yeah, it's a overreaction of blood vessels. So your blood vessels constrict.
Too much.
In response to cold. And so like my hands would turn blue. So that happened beginning age 14 for me. My hands were blue, and I knew that I had that, but I didn't know that was associated with autoimmune disease at all. I just thought I had blue hands, and people would be like, "Whoa,
well,
your hands
we just
are..."
accept,
It is
what it is.
Yeah. So I wore gloves all the time. Just dealt with my blue hands, and sometimes they would turn white. It's interesting, like on parts of the digits, your fingers, it gets white, and so it looks like it's dead.
Really?
So yeah, it's a crazy thing, but many, many, many people have it. And you can have it and not have autoimmune disease. So there are many people that have Raynaud's that don't have autoimmune disease. But, and I didn't know it was correlated again. So anyway, so after we found out that my daughter, was having all these rashes, they tested me, they tested her, and it ended up that I had all of these, like a slew of autoimmune antibodies. And she had them too, but her body wasn't producing them. So she had just gotten them from me, when she was in utero. And so the doctors told us that once the antibodies kind of ran their course, I don't know what the medical, terminology for that is, but yeah.
This is the
okay, we're lay
layman's
people.
channel.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So we're the average Joe channel. So, once everything ran its course, her body wasn't producing them and she would be fine. And that's exactly what happened. She is great. She doesn't have autoimmune antibodies today. She's 16 and just beautiful and, doing really well. But then consequently, I found out that I had all of these autoimmune antibodies, was diagnosed with lupus, with Sjogren's syndrome, and with Hashimoto's
And how long ago was this?
So, oh my, probably in the early 2000s is when I started having symptoms. We're looking at 20 years.
Wow.
And it got pretty bad around 2010, between 2012.
So you don't remember the exact year?
Yeah, I don't remember.
All right,
I don't remember.
right.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
right.
remember. But I did in about 2019, 2020 with COVID. I got super sick. Not with COVID, but during the time of COVID.
So that's around 19 to 21, I think.
Yeah. So 2020, I got very, very sick, and my blood levels dropped. I have pretty much had low white blood cell count, low red blood cell count, low platelets for most of the time that I can remember, since I've been having children. Well, I guess, yeah, probably since about 2010, I would say, I had low blood counts. And so after my daughter was born and I found out that I had all of these things, I started seeing a rheumatologist who put me on an immunosuppressant to help my immune system, because essentially with autoimmune, your body is producing autoimmune antibodies against your own tissue. And so,
Right.
So it's destroying your own tissue. And so an immunosuppressant will help suppress the immune system so that it's not as overactive.
Right.
And so I did that, and that helped me feel better. I started taking things like Plaquenil, thyroid medicine, all kinds of things like that. And then just in 2020, when I just got super sick, and that's on all these medicines, I had a lot of stress.
I'm trying to get this back to your mother.
Yeah, so she doesn't have any autoimmune.
No, I know,
Oh, okay.
but you knew that she had lost 100
Yes,
pounds.
yes.
And so this was around 2020?
Yes. Well, no, my mom lost 100 pounds probably.
Well, I know, but
before
when
that.
did you how did you decide to become whole food?
Great question. Okay. So,
One question, right?
That's the one question. I didn't tell my whole story. So the question is, how I essentially got really sick, and so because of that, I was motivated.
Right.
And so, so my mom said, "Have you heard of Dr. Brooke Goldner? She has this program. She has a book called Goodbye Lupus." And so I bought the book. I read it. I started following the protocol, and I felt better right away. But I still had.
When you say the protocol, I heard you say that.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Great question. Another great question. So, she accidentally healed her own lupus.
Right.
She was getting ready to get married. Her husband was a celebrity trainer, and she went on a high raw diet of raw cruciferous vegetables. And so she did that, and then after 3 months, went and got her lab work done, and she had very bad lupus. She had kidney disease and had to take chemotherapy and a lot of different really nasty things. And her lupus markers, her biomarkers on her blood work were all normal. And so,
even though she had all the symptoms.
Well, her symptoms had gone away.
Oh.
Yeah, her symptoms had gone away.
Then her blood work became
and then her blood,
normal.
but it happened just after a few months. For me, it took longer.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So I decided that I was gonna go all in. I decided if someone can heal themselves with food, I want to be the one to do it. If there's a way that I can heal myself, that's something that I can control.
It's
There's so
much
much.
Nice to be in control of our own health. Without a huge expense or signing up for a huge program.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. No, I mean, there's so many people out there who want to make money. There's so many people out there, who are selling so many, weight loss drugs, all these different things.
When I first went in this, I was worried about being in a scam.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's go back to you. So you started this, and you didn't see the immediate results.
Right, yeah. So I wasn't eating enough at the time when I first started on my own. I read her book and I
Right.
didn't really understand.
Eating enough what?
Well, so cruciferous vegetables are raw and everything was raw. So cruciferous vegetables are kale.
Cruciferous.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the reason for cruciferous vegetables is that they're the most nutritious food that exists.
Okay.
And so the idea is you're flooding your body with all of these nutrients.
Yes.
An excess amount of nutrients.
Yes.
And
If I may just interrupt you for
please,
a moment.
yeah.
That's the difference for if you have a heart disease or diabetes. All you have to do is to quit eating bad food, which there's a lot of it out there. And that was how I came at it.
Okay.
But for things like you're talking about in cancer, they want you to beat it with nutrition. In other words, it's additive. Not only don't eat the bad stuff, but add these things like cruciferous vegetables.
Yeah, it's
easy
not
for
an
you to say.
easy thing to say.
No, it's not.
No,
Okay.
and it's really interesting because there are many maladies or diseases
Yes,
that
there
can
are.
be eliminated with taking out inflammatory things like meat and dairy, from
Yeah.
your diet.
And that, for a lot of people, my wife was one of them. She
Yeah.
just quit eating meat and sort of cut back on fat, but then it cured her cancer.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and everybody's a
Wow.
little bit different in
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I had to do a pretty strict eating regimen protocol because my lupus was pretty stubborn. And so, but
And it took you about...
So it took me, so I ended up doing, she does have a program, Brooke Goldner has a program that I ended up doing because she monitors you every day, and
that
so,
helps your...
yeah, it
helps
did,
you do
and
it.
she, wants you to sleep for 7 to 8 hours a night and
Yeah.
do a lot of self-care, because, food is addictive.
Right.
Or it can be, sugars and different things can be addictive. And so in order to break that.
Yes, let me...
Yeah, you could jump in. You have lots
I
that
do.
you're
I'm
remembering.
running the camera.
Yeah.
I do. So I just read an article on the internet by a good source saying that refined sugar, is more addictive than heroin.
Oh, I
anything.
believe it. Yeah, I know.
And they did it based on brain scans.
Wow, I love that. I love brain science.
So
That's good.
back to-
That's super interesting, and I believe it. I mean, it's so hard to break that habit of sugar, and so it
I
makes
haven't.
sense. Yeah.
I've broken it, but I still want. I go to the sweet table.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of plant-based, things that you can
it's
sweeten
healthy,
with fruit,
but
and
you can't.
Yeah.
You got to be careful not to
yeah,
overdo it.
yeah, it's true. It's true, and so, but Dr. Goldner, she says that you, in order to replace that dopamine or that, whatever sugar gives
Whatever
us,
the high.
yeah, we need to replace that with something happy in our lives.
Yeah.
So, so self-care is really big on her program. So I had to learn how to do that. I have 4 children, and I had to learn how to
While raising children.
kind of how to take some time, to calm down, to do things like, at least for me, it was massages. I love massages, so I would do things like that, but just something that means that feels to yourself like soothing and a self-care thing.
Yeah, we all need. I think we all need to achieve a balance in our life.
Yeah, calling a friend or
Whatever.
some people rollerbladed, or danced or dance classes, just whatever it might be.
What's your status now with lupus?
Oh, so now, okay, this is so exciting. So I did the protocol for a while. Sometimes you hear about a lot of people who are doing her protocol who heal very fast. Mine was a little bit slower. A lot of my symptoms, like my dry eyes, went away. My burning skin. I had burning skin. It wasn't burnt. It just felt burnt, which is something having to do with your nerves. A lot of those, most of those things, I was tired all the time, felt sick all the time. Just felt generally unwell, achy. So that all went away right away. And I used to be super tired. I would have to go to sleep at 8 p.m. I would lay down on the couch and just like instantly fall asleep. And now, I mean, now I'm up till 10, 11 p.m. My husband's like, I'm going to sleep. And so I have so much energy. And
Okay, now I have one viewer that insists on blood tests.
Yeah.
Do you have blood? Do you know what they were
Yeah.
before and after? Would you please tell us?
Yes. Okay, so I have always had low white blood cell count, red blood cell count, platelets, since since about 2010. So while doing this protocol, it took a little while for my blood to normalize. But at the beginning, I mean, everything was low, everything was abnormal. But after about a year or so of doing, the strict raw cruciferous vegetables, eliminating everything else, high omega-3 intake with chia seeds or flaxseed oil, but chia seeds or flaxseed, and also, the cruciferous, I was able to have my blood work be normalized. So now my blood work's normal. Everything's normal. Nothing
Fantastic.
it's awesome. It is so fantastic to feel well.
And it's been how long?
So that's been 4 years. Well, 3 years since my blood work normalized, but I've been doing 4 years of high raw. So I take my salads everywhere.
I saw your body.
Yeah, they're huge. I eat
they
2 pounds of cabbage or spinach a day, or broccoli and guacamole. So I just eat a lot of raw vegetables, and I love it. There is nothing that compares to being well. Like it
That's
is
right.
just it is just the
nothing
best.
feels as good as health.
Yeah, it is
or nothing
wonderful.
tastes as good as health feels.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to be determined, and I was, and still, and continued.
Do you miss any of the food?
Sometimes, I'll smell something and I'm like, So I just have to remind myself, it's.
And you've not been tempted, have you?
Not really. I just, I don't really think of it as my food. I think of it as different.
Good trick.
I mean, I will, when I was healing, I didn't eat anything with any sugar. I actually cut out all fruit as well. Dr. Goldner says, or she invites people, if they make smoothies, to have 3/4 of the blender is cruciferous vegetables or spinach. And then 1/4 is fruit to make it taste better, because it doesn't really taste good.
I'm
sorry if you've done
I do that trick. Yeah.
So I eliminated all fruit because I wanted to give my body the best possible, odds of healing. And so I do eat fruit now. I eat, beans and cooked foods, which I didn't eat for a long time. But I'm still 90% raw. So
good.
4 years,
That's good.
It's been awesome.
And happy as can be.
It's
I
fantastic.
love your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
All right. Last question.
Sure.
If you could give a suggestion to someone that's thinking about going on this lifestyle, not the diet, the lifestyle, what advice would that be?
I would say probably, because I take my food everywhere, and at first you have to field a lot of questions. A lot of people say, why are you eating this way? Or, wow, that's a really big salad. Or, and so then after a while, well, at first you kind of get used to telling people, well, I'm on a special diet. And mostly people understand. There's so many different...
If you tell them for health reasons, do you tell them why?
Depends on how well I know them.
Okay,
how well I know them.
Yeah.
So, usually I'll just say I have a special diet, or, I am a vegan for health reasons, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I usually will say, and I love it, and just because sometimes people will be like, oh, but honestly, what a joyful, this is something that we can control, and that is such a gift that we can give to ourselves, and also to I have 4 children. I wanted to be alive for them. Lupus is a terrible disease. It affects people. People die. It harms their kidneys. A lot of people have kidney issues. They just quality of life too. I just was not well.
Yeah. There's one other person, and I can't remember her name, that had lupus, and she got. But I'm not sure if I've interviewed her or not.
Okay.
But I was just when you said that, I thought, oh,
Yeah,
I've got to interview.
yeah. Well,
All right.
well, autoimmune. I mean, I think autoimmune is becoming more prevalent. I think more and more people are realizing that they have autoimmune.
I think more than that. I think there's something in our environment that's causing it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's obviously foodborne.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of food that's kind of non-food. You know, like
Yes.
there's food like manufactured food. Like what
Yeah.
exactly is all these things?
Ultra-processed.
Yeah,
Ultra-processed.
yeah. So
All
I
right.
mean, the jury's still out on
I
those.
want to
so.
cut it short.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good. I could keep talking.
So that's it for today. I have one coming up that you may or may not be interested in. It's going to be, I'm going to talk to Twyla, I think, next week, and I'll publish it next week. So maybe 2 weeks away. So I'll see you guys whenever I see you again.
Bye.
That was wonderful.